Welcome back, everybody, to episode 12 of Steelheads tonight. Been a couple of weeks since we last uploaded. We've been going through cold, so we haven't done the greatest. Um, so we're back. Um, Steelheads have been racking up some points as of late, um, getting themselves back in the picture of the playoffs. Um, Again, they're only, what, 7 points out of it right now, which isn't great, but it's better than it was. They've
Yeah, way better than it was for sure. And
at one
easily, we're entering the home stretch of the season now. And I feel like if they really want to make a push, it's now or never. It's at that point now in the season.
the closest they got before, like the closest they got to the playoffs was they were 3 points back at one point. But again, they lost a couple of games since the last podcast. Um, so let's go through that. Um, they faced Barry a couple weeks ago on February 6th. It was the return of Mason Zabeski and Parker Von Richter. Barry came up on top, winning that game 4-1. Jason, what did you think of that game?
Yeah, it was a. I think it was I feel like they're feeling the emotions in that game. I feel like they didn't play their best. I feel like they thought, oh, our captain, like Zabeski and Von Richter are back. Like it's good to see these guys again back in the arena and stuff like that. So I don't think they had their best foot forward essentially that game. And then obviously Zabeski ended up scoring that game, ironically, which was kind of cool to see. But at the same time, it's like, man, never thought that would actually hurt our team seeing a Zabeski goal.
Yeah, he scored the last goal against the Steelheads that game. Ironically, all the goals came in the third period.
Yeah, that was the crazier
Uh,
part, I think. So they're in it the whole game, but I had a feeling it's like these guys, like the tonight, they just something felt off that game, if that makes any sense. Something was like, even though it was like, oh, you're one shot away from taking the lead, it's been tied all game. But I felt like something was off that game. Like I feel like they didn't have their best foot forward that night.
yeah, Cole Boudouin from Barry was the highlight of the game there, having 3 points. Um, Played phenomenal. And the only Steelhead goal came from Sean Matthew Goyette. That was his first as
Yeah, first
employed
show goal.
developer. So that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, 4-1 against Barry on the 6th. Then Sarnia came into town on the 7th. Saw the return of Jack Van Volsen, who was traded last off season to Sarnia.
Yeah, that was
Um,
like one of the first major moves that JR pulled off was trading him away.
yeah, so I mean that game they got a point, they got it to overtime. Um, but we can start off with how the first period was. There was no goals in the first, so they had a strong first period. Um, what we've seen recently is the lack of shots for the Steelheads in
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
They
definitely
don't
we've been
like to get pucks to the net.
Yeah, and that's something we've been preaching all season. Like, just pucks to the net. It doesn't have to be the most fanciest shot ever. If you cross the blue line and don't see anything, just shoot towards the net. Nothing bad's gonna happen when you shoot it towards the net.
Yeah, like they had 5 shots in that first period. I'd say anything five and below
It's not very
is
good. And
not great. Um,
obviously, we go back to that Oshawa Generals game we went to a few weeks ago, and they only had two or three shots on goal through the first period, and we're like, they had more penalty minutes than shots that period, which was not ideal.
yeah, so yeah, yeah, Sarnia was a loss 2-1, but it was overtime, so they got a point. Then they went up to North Bay on the 12th. Um, Again, losing in extra time. It was a shootout. Um, Luke Johnson made 58 saves in that game. Um, Hell of a performance from him, even though in the loss.
Yeah.
Um,
He's
but
he's been one of the guys though that this season it's been making me feel great about the Steelheads future having a guy like that. Like at 16 years old stopping 58 of 60 shots is it's crazy. Like you don't expect to hear stuff like that, especially from a 16-year-old. So hats off to him. He's making this our future look pretty bright right now.
Botano scored both our goals in North Bay last week. Um, here's the kicker, Jason. Second period, still had 6 shots with 2 goals with Botano.
Yep.
But in the third and overtime combined, 3 shots. 1 shot in the third and 2 shots in overtime.
Safe to say Luke Johnson is the real reason why they got a point that night.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, because we don't know what's going on with Bowen. He hasn't dressed in the last 3 games. I think he might be dealing with an injury of some
Yeah.
sort. Well,
Which is not
we've,
which was not
we've
the most surprising thing considering how many times we've seen the trainer come out for him recently, especially in that one game. I can't remember who it was against, but when the opposing team basically rolled him over, knocked him over, and his leg like bent in a way that it's like it didn't look like it was supposed to bend that way.
no, and he's been uh hit or got put or gotten opponents pushed into him multiple times by his own players on countless occasions this year. So
Countless occasions,
it
that's for
was
sure.
only a matter of time, I guess, before his body would give out and have something like that happen. Um, but after North Bay last week, they went across to Sudbury, and Sudbury just really outperformed them all game again. Um, Matthew Roy was or Matthew Roy, right?
Nathan Roy.
Mason Roy. That's twice I've done that. Um, Mason Roy, second goal, and the only goal for the Steelheads. Um, Shots were better. 10 in the first, 9 in the second, 11 in the third. So that's an improvement.
Yeah,
And
in my opinion, you got to average at least 10 shots a period for it to be considered a successful period for the offense.
yeah, the score. I mean, scoring goals is great too, but shots on goal is most important. Um, but
Well, shots a goal dictate how the rest of the game is going to go, in my opinion.
yeah, so lost 4-1 against Sudbury on the 13th. Then for Family Day, the battalion came to Brampton for Family Day, and North Bay scored 4 goals in the second period, 1 goal in the first at the end of the period, and then 3 goals in the first minute and a half of the second. It felt like.
I like that.
Um, let's talk about that first goal in the second when the puck seemed to be dumped in off the corner boards and hit Johnson's skate and went in the net. Um, when I saw that happen, I knew the floodgates were going to open for North
Yeah,
Bay because
that was just an unfortunate event, like in the game. I don't think that's really like a that where I don't even think the player was planning on that. He was just planning on dumping it in the zone and and chase it.
yeah,
Obviously, like it took a lucky bounce, and then Luke Johnson was just doing whatever he was doing. He was just trying to get an angle on the puck, and the next thing he knows, it's in the back of the net.
I mean, yeah, it's a lucky bounce for the offense, unlucky bounce for the goaltender for sure. But one as a goaltender, like I'm not speaking from experience myself, but as a goaltender, I would assume once one of those kind of goals goes in, it messes with you. And then you think you can't save anything
Yeah,
if that goes in. So
I
we
can't.
saw a little bit of a shaky Luke Johnson in the second period there. Um, oh, my screen went black. Uh, I'm back. But yeah, Luke Johnson had a shaky period there, and we saw it. That might be the most shaky we've seen him all year in limited playing time. But McGregor Richmond scored his fifth goal of the season, and Demiglio scored his 11th for the Steelheads in the second period. And then the only goal in the third period was from Troy Patton, making it 5-3. They came close to making it 5-4 late, but to no avail. So the Bay,
He put in a good effort in the last few minutes. I'll give them that, and I think it started with that Patton goal as well because that was a very nice passing play they had going for that goal.
I mean, the Steelheads played their best period in the third out of the whole
But that's,
60,
yeah,
shooting 15 shots on goal. So they controlled that third period. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough time, but that was the period of their control, which was fantastic to see. Um, but now we look around to our uh, standings here. Brantford and Ottawa have clinched a playoff spot in the East Division, and Peterborough sits third with 65 points, and Kingston holds the last spot in the East with 52. Oshawa sits last with 29 points, but they have started to be playing a little better as of late. Um, in the Central, Barry's clinched with 80 points. I think they've pretty much won the Central Division,
Yeah, they've
leading
clinched the
North
spot,
Bay
but I think
by
they
19 points. So yeah, I'd say Barry's won the East or the Central Division. North Bay sits second with 61. Niagara's only 4 points back on North Bay for second, and then Sudbury holds the last spot with 46 points. Again, the Steelheads aren't completely out of it, but it's most likely too little too late at this point of the season with 39 points. And then we go to the Midwest. Kitchener uh, leads the division and has a playoff spot with 80 points. London has a playoff spot, 69 points. Guelph is in third with 52 points. And then Owen Sound is the last spot with 46. And then in the West, Flint and Windsor are tied with 79 points, and they've both clinched, and so has Sault Ste. Marie. They've clinched with 72 points, and Saginaw is hopeful to lock down the last spot with 47 points, but Sarnia is only 6 points back, so we'll see how that one plays
there's
out.
gonna be some fun races coming up going on as we enter the home stretch of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Like Owen Sound holds the last spot in the Western Conference. If you look through to 1 to 8, it's Owen Sound holding the last spot. Sarnia is only 5 points back at Owen Sound for that last spot.
Yeah,
So it's going to be a fun race for in the West. The East is pretty much spoken for. If not, it's pretty close to being spoken for. But the West is going to be a fun one to watch play out. Excuse me. And as we look at team stats now, Julian DeMiglio leads the team in goals with 11. Or him and Arda are tied at 11, sorry. And
yeah.
then Troy Patton scored 10. Um, It was weird because when they announced his goal on Monday, they said it was his fifth of the season, but it was really his 10th. And then
Yeah, that was a
Witkowski,
little famous.
yeah, Witkowski has 9, and Amidovsky has 9. So we're starting to see more um, players on the team score more. So it's good to see the bottom six pick it up a little bit here. Um, yeah, so again, we just gotta keep shooting pucks on the net and see what happens because
Yeah,
that's the big thing. Last week was the Steelheads picture day, um, and we saw that Peter Schlabowski was in attendance for the picture. Um,
yeah.
don't know what's going on with him. He's only played in the one game, so
I think he's hurt because he hasn't been playing anywhere else. So I think that's the only
that's the only
really.
explanation I can think of. Um, I mean, in his one game, he faced 38 shots, but let in 4 goals. So his goals against average was 4.19. So like it is what it is at the end of the day. But hopefully he can start getting healthy here.
Yeah,
Because
hopefully here by
as
the
we
end of
go
the
into
season.
next year, Zach Bowen's gone. He's an overager.
Yeah,
So
the
as of
goaltending
right
is
now,
something that needs to be addressed. Like I'm not sure if I fully like, especially with Chabowski only playing one game. I feel like Luke Johnson has pretty much locked in a backup role at this point.
I mean, we'll see how the off season goes too, right? Like, as of right now, for next season, your goaltenders are Shabelski and Johnson, as long as Shabelski's healthy.
Yeah,
So I guess we'll see what goes on in the off season. That's a later discussion to talk about. Um, but yeah, we can discuss that later because we can do a
yeah,
whole
that's the
episode of what could happen next year. But that we'll
yeah.
do that at the end of the season.
We could put our opinions in of like a whole episode of off-season needs for the Steelheads.
Could probably be like a 2 or 3 episodes with the stuff that I could talk about. Um, but this week the Steelers are back in action. They have 3 games. They face the Petes on Friday, and then they go to Owen Sound on Saturday, and they finish off with a midweek matchup against the Brantford Bulldogs on Wednesday. So it's gonna be a hard weekend for the Steelheads, or week I should say. Um, I like all three of the other teams. The only team that I think they'd have a good chance against is Peterborough, but even that's a hard matchup because all the teams they're facing right now are in a playoff spot. But if I'm looking at the standings again, you know what? I'm gonna change my answer. The only team I think they got a good chance of against is Owen Sound. Owen Sound's the closest to them. In terms of points, they only had 46 points. So I'll go with Owen Sound. Hopefully they can win Saturday against Owen Sound. If they can win Friday against Peterborough, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
I think a 4 point week, 4 points in the next 3 games would be a the best case would be six, of course, but that's just not, especially with Brantford. Even though the Steelheads were the team to give them their first regulation loss, but that's when we had all our studs and Zabeski, Sherratt,
yeah,
and all those guys still with the team.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I think if they can win against Owen Sound on Saturday, that gives them 2 points. If they could get into overtime against either Peterborough or Brantford, I'd take that as a win.
Yeah, that would
Um,
be a good thing to happen.
yeah, I'd take that as a win for sure. Um, so let's go into our 3 stars over the last few weeks. Um, I guess my third star. Um, this is a hard one. My third star, I guess, would be Botno. He's been playing pretty good as of late. Excuse me. Um, my second star, la, 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 would be, let's go McGregor Richmond, because that's what I'm thinking at the top of my head. And then my first star would be, um, let's go with Goyette for scoring his first goal. Jason, how about
I'd
you?
say my I'd say my third star of the week of the last 2 weeks would be Luke Johnson, just because he has taken the reins recently for being the number one goalie, and he's done a solid job. Like, sure, he had like a couple shaky period against North Bay, but overall, he's been a key point of the team and keeping them in games. So I'd say he's my third star of the week. Second star, I'd say Justin Botno because he has been performing really well recently. I feel like that's the guy, like the way he's playing right now, that's the guy JR acquired. That's the guy he envisioned him to be when he made that trade to get him on the team.
Yeah,
My first pick, I'm going to give it to Julian D'Amiglio. He's been having a solid couple weeks. He's been a big part of those 2 wins the Steelheads have gotten recently. So, and he's kept them in game with his scoring. So he's been taking over the reins as the goal scorer on the team.
good picks. Our Steelheads alum for this episode is goaltender Spencer Martin. He played back with the when the team was in Mississauga, originally with the Michaels Majors before they changed names to Steelheads. He spent uh, 4 seasons with the team. Um, Played pretty well with the team, averaging about 3 goals a game, which is pretty good. Um, yeah, like Spencer Martin was a good goaltender for the Steelheads. Then he obviously moved on. He was in the AHL for a bit, in the ECHL with a bit. Then he went and got his chance with the Avalanche for a bit. Um, then went back down to the A for a couple more seasons with different teams. Colorado Eagles, Syracuse Crunch. Then went to the ECHL with the Solar Bears. That's a fun name.
Yeah, they have probably one of the best logos as well in hockey, in my opinion, at least.
Jerseys, I think, in hockey. Uh, Syracuse Crunch. Then he got a chance with the Vancouver Canucks in 21-22 and 22-23 before going to Columbus for a bit. Now he's with the, excuse me, with the AHL, it looks like. Um, so yeah, like he's had a heck of a run here. He's moved around a lot since
Yeah, he's moved
his,
around a lot, for
his
sure. He's
Steelhead
been like, I feel like in
days.
more recent years, he's been like the kind of guy on teams that sign him, like because they're like, oh, we know he's got some experience, but he's a good option to have in the AHL in case something happens to one of our goalies.
Yeah, he's a good third string goalie when you need somebody else to fill in a spot. Um, Obviously, he was great in the OHL, but obviously the OHL is different from the NHL. You're not going to be an everyday goalie in the NHL like you were in the OHL. So
Yeah,
it's good to see him still playing for sure and having some success. But yeah,
and
good
he's
goal.
played two seasons where he was up the whole season with Vancouver and Columbus, so
Yeah,
he could always say that, hey, I played two full seasons in the NHL, and no one could take that away from him.
exactly. Yeah, so thanks everybody for staying patient with us. As we had a couple weeks there where we weren't feeling the greatest. I'm still not feeling the greatest. Um, but before we go, we told you about a month ago we had some news to share about the World Junior Tournament. Um, Jason, you wanna tell the news?
Yeah, so this is pretty big for the podcast. We're actually going to the World Juniors for 2027, which we're both very excited about. Andrew luckily got some access to the tickets through a little contest, so
Yeah,
we're
the
able to get
priority draw.
yeah priority draw, and he was able to get a couple tickets, and we're pretty pumped for it. Like that's obviously a big, I guess, Christmas gift to ourselves, being able to go out there because it's something we've always wanted to do. We've talked about it for years, wanted to go to the World Juniors, but we're like we wanted it to be in Canada or at the very least in the States. But the fact that it's in Canada, we didn't have to like change currency. We could just we're good to go like with our stuff already. Again, we're pretty pumped for it. Like this is something we've been wanting to do for a long time, ever since I don't since we were kids even I would say. Wanted to go to
Yeah,
the World Juniors.
it's been on my list for the last 6 or 7 years. I've wanted to do it for sure. Uh, but yeah, like when I entered the draw back at the beginning of January before the deadline, I knew thousands and thousands and thousands of people um, entered the draw. So to be one of the lucky people selected to get the draw and to win the draw and get a chance to and get a chance to buy tickets was one thing. But then when I got the code later that month and the day to try and get tickets, and obviously I logged in, um, selected the seats, did the payment, and when it finally said that you got tickets, then the uh, the excitement began because unless you don't get like once you get that message saying you got it,
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like you can say that, oh my god, I got chosen, but once you see the message saying you got tickets, it's a whole different feeling. So yeah, like we are totally pumped for it. We're looking forward to it. We can't uh wait until World Junior time. But yeah, so excuse me. But yeah, that's our big news for World Juniors. Stay tuned for next week for our recap of the next three games the Seahawks have. and we'll set up the following week as well. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Go Steel, go!
Still go.